guys. So welcome back to Dr. Yeti Real Estate. It is your favorite real estate agent, Dr. Yeti, and I am back with yet another video. Today, we are going through Reddit posts. Y'all, listen, let me tell you something. I go on Reddit once in a while. I used to be like on Reddit so much when I was in like high school and towards like college times. And I kind of fell off of that. I got busy, started my career and all these things. And recently I have found myself back on Reddit. And for some reason I've been getting these emails from like Reddit posts and like real estate advice type of posts. And as I'm reading them, I'm like, oh my goodness, like so many people are going through these things. Why not talk about it on my channel? So here I am back to talk to you guys about this. But before I get into the video, if you are in the Atlanta metro area or you are looking to relocate into the Atlanta metro area or out of the Atlanta metro area and you are looking to buy, sell, invest in this city of Atlanta or the surrounding cities, your girl is a real estate agent. If you're looking for an agent who is knowledgeable about the market and who loves her career, okay, I am on fire for real estate, okay? I'm your girl, okay? Make sure you check out my description. I have all information on how to reach me, how to contact me, how to get in touch. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so today we're gonna be going over a Reddit post. I'm gonna be looking down. I want to look at you guys, but unfortunately, I gotta look down at my computer to see what is popping. Okay, so the first Reddit post is it's a little lengthy. Okay, it's a little lengthy, so I might have to cut it down a little bit, or I might read the whole thing. Who knows? You guys might be interested in watching the whole thing. Let me know in the comments. Do you want me to read the whole lengthy posts, or do you want me to cut it down into little chunks? Okay. Let's get into it. So $305,000 appraisal on a $390,000 home. Where do we go from here? We, the buyers, are under contract for a home for $390,000. For context, the home is solid but very outdated, 50 years old, but nothing has been updated since, including carpeted bathrooms and original electrical panel. Half an acre of wooded property on a cul-de-sac near an elementary school. The listing price went from 479 to 449 to 419. Okay, so seeing that alone, you can tell that the house probably has been on the market for a little bit for a while, and the seller has been dropping the price because they're looking to get a buyer, but they've been having a hard time selling it. So that's typically what sellers do. They will put the house on the market and lower the price the longer it's been sitting on the market because they're looking for a buyer. Okay, so the house is probably on the market for a while. Our realtor pegged the very high price to it being an estate with the sellers. Okay, so it was an estate meaning that this was a property from a deceased person and the family of the deceased are selling the home. So it was an estate with the sellers living out of town and inflating the price out of emotion and splitting the profits. It's been on the market for 7 months with one other offer the seller didn't entertain. So yeah, that sounds about right. Usually when I've worked with an estate situation, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a lot of emotions attached to an estate sale because a family member passed away and so they're trying to get rid of this property, but at the same time they might have an emotional connection to it. Maybe they grew up in that home and all these things. So they look at the home as this is my childhood home, or my father or mother or whatever lived in this home. They're having a hard time selling it. So it's a lot of emotions attached to selling estate homes. But on top of that, this house was on the market for 7 months, which to me it comes down to a couple of things. And if they've only gotten one offer in 7 months, it might be that the house is overpriced. The house might be overpriced, and the right people are not seeing the property. So typically, what happens when a house is overpriced is the people that are willing to pay that much on the property, they see the property for what it is, and they're like, I could get this house for 479, or I could get this much better looking house for 479. This house might be great for maybe 300 and $90,000. But because it's on, when you're looking for a property that's 479 and you see this property, you're like, this is a nice property, but it's not 479K worth. So the right people don't get to see the house. The people that are shopping for homes 390, they won't see the house. So the house will tend to be on the market for longer. And like in this situation, you would get one offer that you are not even entertaining because it's not what you're looking for. It's been sitting on the market for 7 months. Okay, so we were pre-approved for a mortgage well above our asking price. We were prepared to put down 20% down and take advantage of our excellent credit scores. The broker came back with news from the appraisal. The home was valued at 305. We knew the home was overvalued, but didn't think it was that overvalued. Now, my question to you is, if you believe that the home was overvalued, what was your realtor doing, right? Me as a realtor, before I put an offer on a home for any of my clients, I make sure that I do my research, right? Why was the property on the market for so long? I talk to the agent. I look at the comparative market analysis to see if the house is really valued at that price. If I'm putting an offer for my client, I want to make sure that my client is not overpaying for any property. So if the property is overvalued and you know that it's overvalued, why would you put down an offer for that much? I don't care how pressed my clients are. Okay. Now, if they really, really want this house, I have the fiduciary the fiduciary obligation to my clients to say, hey, I'm gonna give you this advice, but it's up to you if you decide that you want to buy this house. However, I'm always telling my clients, listen, this house is overpriced. I would put an offer on this price. There are too many properties, too many properties on the market for you to choose to pay higher value on this property than what it's really worth, right? Because when it comes down to selling it, you're probably going to lose more. Let's say you decide to sell it next year or the same year or the year after. I have seen too many times when people purchase a home in the following year, I talk very fast. I talk very fast, okay? But I've seen too many times when people purchase a home and then the following year they decide that they want to sell it. And a lot of times you have not built enough equity on the property to sell the house. And so the house will probably be sitting on the market for so long because you're trying to sell this house for something that it's not worth, right? So I would say all of this to say, right? Never pay more for a property than it's worth. I know, like during 2021, when the interest rates were lower, people were paying more for a property than it was worth. They were literally doing a bidding war, right? Back in those times when the interest rates were down 3%, people were actually bidding on properties for higher. Like they were paying $20,000, $30,000 more on a property. They were not doing inspections. They were not doing the due diligence because they were so pressed to buy a house. And many months down the line, they want to sell this house. Unfortunately, because they didn't do inspection, they didn't really see what was wrong with the property. They just bought it. And they want to sell this house, but they can't because the people now with the higher interest rates, they are doing due diligence. They are doing inspection. They are looking at market analysis and looking at your property. You want to sell your property for what you bought it for so you can get out of the mortgage, but unfortunately, you can't get out of the mortgage because the house is worth less than what you purchased it for. So, I say all of this to say it doesn't matter how much you really like a house. I'm telling you this to anyone that's watching this, okay? It does not matter how much you like a house. Do not pay more for the house than what it's worth. Especially if you're working with your agent should be telling you, hey, listen, this house is a beautiful home, but it's worth less than what you were willing to pay for it. Please be sure not to buy this house. There's too many properties. There are too many properties that go on the market. And if you don't find one on the market, your agent, there's so many different things you can do to find a house that literally meets what you're looking for. Okay, so never pay for more than what the house is worth. So I went on my my soapbox, but let's get back into it. Um, we have the means to pay a bit more outside of the 305K mortgage, but not to the tune of 85K. The seller thinks the mortgage appraisal is a choke and refuses to budge. Now, if they believe the mortgage appraisal is a joke, it's one of two things. Maybe you might need to get a reappraisal, right? Call the bank and let them know, hey, listen, or the lender, I would like for you to do another appraisal with another person to do this appraisal, and you might be able to get a different value. But if your agent does a CMA, your agent should do a CMA to see if the house is really worth what they're asking for. So they're asking for what? 390,000. They're asking for 390,000. Did your agent run a market analysis to compare the properties in the neighborhood to see if it really is worth 390? Because if it is truly worth 390, then it would be smart to say, "Hey, we really do want this house. Let us do another appraisal, hire a new appraiser, and see what can be done to get a better appraisal value." But if the house is not worth 85K extra, I would not pay 85K extra for a home that's worth 305,000. That's just me. That's just me. We love the home. Our young kids love the home. I'm so disappointed. So do we any recourse here? Okay, do we have any recourse here? We can refute the appraisal with an ROV, but from what I hear, that's a lost cause. What's ROV? Return of value? With we can refute the hmm. I'm a real estate agent and I don't think I've ever heard of a ROV. Maybe I should. I feel bad. Maybe I should know what a ROV. I've just never heard of that. Um refute I don't know. I'm gonna look at, let me Google it. ROV. What is ROV? Real estate reconsideration of value. Okay. Oof, I'm so sorry. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Because I've never had to do a ROV with appraisal, so that's kind of, see, listen. I'm transparent here when I tell you that I've never heard of ROV. So okay, so they will do a reconciliation of value. Do we try to get a mortgage elsewhere and hope the appraisal comes in higher? Cut our losses and miss out on our dream home? Absolutely not. I would say get your agent to do a market analysis to see if the house is worth that much. If it is, then ask the bank to do a reappraisal. So I guess that's what a ROV is. Ask your bank to do a ROV with another appraiser, right? Because if it really truly is worth what they are listing it for, then you can do that, right? But if it's not, I would find another property to purchase because um think about it. The house has been on the market for 7 months. They got one offer within the last 7 months. So you have to kind of look at and understand, like, okay, why is it selling for so low? Oh, why is it not selling the past couple of months? Um, do we Okay, I've already read that. So thank you all for, do we try to get a mortgage as well? Okay. Thank you all so much for the responses, some clarifications. The seller isn't willing to do their own appraisal, which, I mean, why would they do that? I don't blame them. Our realtor is skeptical of some of the comps on the appraisal. Okay, so your realtor is skeptical on some of the comps in the appraisal. What did your realtor come up with when it came to the appraisal? Did your realtor say that the price of the house is 390? If not, then your realtor can, you can ask for ROV if that's the case. So the broker questioned it himself because he'd never seen that much of a delta in 40 years experience. Delta, okay, so I get that. They've never seen that much of a delta. However, that much of a delta from what it's listed for, or that much of a delta from what the CMA says, right? So if the CMA says, if the market analysis really says 385, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess we need more information because what really is the market analysis? Is the house really truly worth 385 on the market? Okay. The home is within our very small school district, which would rather not take our kids out of. Pickings are slim. We are legally able to walk away with our hand money. Luckily, I was just hoping to exhaust all options before that. Though agreed at some of you suggesting to remove the emotion. Absolutely remove the emotion. That's not the only school district. Unfortunately, if you really truly do want a house and your family want to move somewhere new, emotions need to be removed from that. Your kids will adjust in a new school district. Granted, you do find a property at a location with a great school district, then emotions need to be removed because this is a big investment. Okay, as I know, like in some areas, 305 or 390 is not that big of a value for a home, but $390,000 is a lot of money, like when you really think about it. So that is a big investment. And so emotions must be removed when you're looking at something like that. We had an inspection. Ultimately, there was some minor items to be expected with an outdated home, but nothing that would drive the value down that much lower. Maybe by 5 to 10K if the seller was willing to budge. This also included pest and radon. The realtor shared some comps that likely went into the original valuation. It still wouldn't put the home at 415, but it wasn't near 305 either. So what was the comps, right? What was the comps? I know you're saying it wasn't, so what was the comps? What value did you come up with? So I'm going to read a little bit of the comments. And your options are to pay, protest, or pivot. Yeah. I mean, it's up to you. Like, you literally can either pay, which you can't because they're not willing to budge, protest, which you can do, or pivot, find something else. I mean, that's not the only property on the market. So it's up to you. If you get to appraisals that are that low, the owners are really going to have to listen. Yeah. So either get another appraisal. I would suggest switching lenders and getting a new appraisal. You don't have to switch a lender to get a new appraisal. You can keep the same lender and ask the lender to do a new appraisal. You don't necessarily have to switch the lender. Um, that's very interesting, though. Let's see another one. Did you read the appraisal? Only asked because I purchased a home and the original appraiser slipped up and gave the wrong appraisal details. Was reading the appraisal and was confused when it was mentioning the neighbor's lot was a mobile home. Wrong area for comps and a whole bunch of other details that were blatantly copy pasted from another house. Ended up just paying for another one on top of the original to close the deal with the mortgage company. That being said, if the appraisal is for this home or for this house, chances are of an appraiser being off the market 20% is very low. Let me read this again. I'm sorry. That being said, if the appraisal is for this house, chances of an appraiser being off the mark 20% is very low. I just wait it out and keep offering a reasonable amount until they cave. There's no point of trying to convince the sellers. Listen, there are too many properties on the market. Me being a real estate agent and just the amount of time that I've been working doing what I do, I don't like to convince people. If you want to work with me to list your house, if you want to work with me to sell your house, to to buy your house with my clients, that's great. But I'm not going to try to convince you of my value. I'm not, so you as a buyer, you are the one giving the money. So you don't have to convince someone to take your money. You can take your money somewhere else that's going to value your money. So I'm not going to try to convince you to try to buy this. But next one is my broker being, is this normal? That's the title of this. Is my broker being reasonable here? I've been waiting to hear back from a second broker to see if they could beat the first offer. Finally heard back from them, and they said they wouldn't be able to match the first offer. But now I just don't know if I feel right moving forward with my original broker. I'm confused what's going on. This is underwriting. Am I being thin-skinned or is this person being legitimately rude? It's too close to closing for me to find a different broker, but who can match this broker's price? Broker. I think this is our first home buyer. So let's see what they're saying because this is a little bit confusing. Are you moving forward? We are not able to do anything until you e-sign your documents. Question. Okay. Looking over it now. Okay, so they sent you a message on Saturday, 4:55 p.m., asking, are you moving forward? We are not able to do anything until you e-sign the documents. You didn't respond. Sunday, they asked again, Sunday at 9:49 a.m. And then you responded yesterday. I don't know what yesterday was, looking over it now. So it seems like you're not very responsive already. I don't want to be a judge here. I'm hoping maybe you are calling them or talking to them, communicating with them outside of text. But already I can see, okay, as a realtor, I'm just looking from a different perspective now. that you are not being very responsive. But that's just me, okay? And mind you, this is my first time seeing it. So, are you moving forward on my withdrawing your loan? Okay, so this is the broker saying this. I either need you to e-sign your docs or we need to withdraw the loan. You didn't respond. I need an answer as I have to do something with your loan today. Either cancel or move forward. Okay, so they are a little bit aggressive because you said looking over it now at 10:57 a.m. They're texting you at 1:46 p.m. and you still haven't done it. So automatically, I can already tell that you yourself are not very responsive, which can be pretty frustrating. Okay, when we're talking about contracts. So I listen. They are a little bit aggressive, but okay. Either cancel or move forward. Hi, I've been working around the clock while juggling other things in life. I've been moving forward one step at a time with blah, blah, blah. I'm currently shopping around with 4 mortgages. Okay. Okay. So I see. This is a very interesting thing. Why is the broker texting you this? So you want me to cancel this loan? I'll do that. We can just leave it with nothing happening. Good luck with your search. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm not able to compare loans. Of course, you're able to do that. I'm not sure what you're saying. I can't just leave a loan hanging. So I'm canceling it. I don't understand. What do you mean you can't leave a loan hanging? I don't know what the broker is trying to say. It's almost like they're trying to rush you to sign on this loan. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. You can, when you sign on anything regarding a loan, you sign at the closing table. That's when you sign off on that loan. So I'm not really sure why they're talking to you like that, but that's interesting. Let's move forward and see. Has nothing to do with what you can or cannot do. Would you explain to me exactly what's happening, because it seems like you're being pretty hostile. The listing agent has been all over me. The listing agent, because I'm trying to get a good perspective. I'm not sure. So you are the buyer, and the listing agent has been all over me to order your appraisal. Why is the listing agent talking to the lender to order the appraisal? Like the buyer's agent is the one that's really working with the lender. Not saying the listing agent can't work with the lender, but the appraisals and all these things, like all of that, the listing agent shouldn't be asking the lender to do that. So that's a very interesting thing. I don't know, either this lender is lying or the listing agent is overstepping their boundaries. I would let them know you're searching around, so I'm not able to move forward. LOL, I'm not sure what hostile means to you. I can't leave business just sitting. It's not how that works. So okay, so let me read the comments, because I feel like I need some clarity on what's happening. This is very confusing. I want to be able to give my opinion, but I need to make sure I know what I'm talking about here. So broker here, he absolutely could have handled the communication better, but once rate is locked and disclosures are sent, we do need to get them signed within 3 days or lose the lock. He should have explained that versus threatening to withdraw a dead import. That said, if you're closing in 2 weeks, you really need to get moving with whoever you end up choosing, hoping you have a smooth process either way. Yeah, I mean, I feel like on both ends they're wrong, right? Because the lender has been reaching out to you for so long to get you to sign documents, and you're not responding, but yet you're closing in 2 weeks. So that's interesting. But then you're saying on yesterday, you said, I'm looking over it now. But then you didn't look over it, because a couple hours later, the lender, the broker has to reach out to you again, asking you, are you moving forward with the loan or not? And then again, had to question, are you moving forward with the loan or not? I need an answer. So it's I'm not gonna lie, your communication is not the best, and it is pretty frustrating even for me as an agent working with people that might that don't communicate very well, it can be frustrating. So I can imagine with a lender who needs these documents signed before you get to the closing table. Yeah, you're not very responsive. And then on top of it, that lender is very frustrated and is acting out instead of just telling you. Because if the lender knows you're going to close, unless this lender is like such a big lender that they have so much business, if this lender really wants to work with you, they're going to have to work with you, right? And so if you lose out on the locked in rate and you choose not to sign on time, it's not their fault. They're just going to have to lock in a new rate with you, and then you will have to sign that and you will have to pay for that. Someone in the comments says you basically left them on red for 2 to 3 days on the first screenshot. Business goes both ways, you know. How would you feel? How would you have felt if you reached out to them and they didn't get back to you for 2 to 3 days? Yeah, like, yeah, let's talk about it. You can't be taking days to respond, dude. Of course he can. It's his deal to F it up. Absolutely. And that's what I was saying. It is his deal to mess up to mess it up, right? But then you're gonna have to pay the cost of it. A tune of thousands of dollars. So like why would you, I don't know. It's just very interesting. I mean, this is a clear case of miscommunication, and I do think that just go ahead and just clear up the miscommunication, apologize, and move forward. I think it's kind of childish, but hey, we move. Next story. All right. This one says, the title of this one says, I'm free! Exclamation point, exclamation point. As of an hour ago, I have been released from my HOA. I managed to sell my condo and the buyer signed this morning. We signed our closing last week. You can do it. You can fulfill your dreams. F HOAs. Listen, let me tell you something. HOAs, they can be great and they can be the worst thing ever, right? Because um a lot of people that I work with try not to purchase properties with HOAs because of the restrictions, because of the associations, because of the fees, so many things. And especially if you're looking at condos, if you are looking at a condo with the H, well, all condos have a form of HOA, right? If you're looking at condos, you have to have an HOA. HOA typically does not stay the same. It's HOA is a very tricky thing. Okay, HOA is not fun. Sometimes you can have properties with HOA of 300 a year, and sometimes you can have HOAs with 3,000 a month. Okay, so it just depends. And imagine you're paying for this HOA, right? 3,000 a month for HOA, but it's not like you're building equity. Sometimes the HOA is more than your mortgage, 100% you're paying for. It's just like what a lot of people feel like, what am I paying for? A lot of people are looking to get out of HOAs, and especially condos. One of the reasons why I don't really like to work with condos is because the condo HOAs, at least here in Atlanta, they're pretty high. They are pretty high. I don't want to pay an additional 600 a month on my mortgage because of HOA. Like I don't want to do that. And if you don't pay for it, they can put a lien on your property and sell your house without you knowing. There's too many stories out there where that has happened. So, um, this person was able to manage to sell their condo with a high HOA. That's awesome. Condos, at least in Atlanta, I don't really look at them. I don't really look to list them. Um, People, I've have had people tell me they want to buy a condo, but listing them, I know it's just a lot. Okay, it's a lot because then you have to try to convince someone that paying $1,000 on HOA every month is worth it. Which I'm over here trying to sell the HOA and I'm trying to sell the property. Good luck to that. But someone says, congrats. Hopefully, the new owners will be salty enough to take over the board and terrorize the Karens for a change. Yeah. So, and the OP says, that's funny since there is, or at least was, an actual Karen on board, as in that is her name. The HOA isn't terrible, just expensive. Yep, it can be expensive. It's either they're terrible or they're expensive, or even both. That's even worse. And they make some annoying decisions like turning a bunch of the shared area into no landscaping rocks instead of mowing the grass. Our biggest reasons for moving was needing a yard, dogs, they have dogs, and woodworking shop space. Okay. Um Let me read one more comment. Congrats, we sold a bit over a year ago and it was amazing the weight that was lifted. We did hear through the grapevine that the new owner nearly got into a fist fight with the HOA president in the street. That's actually funny. That is actually funny. Okay, the HOA president fighting. It's like, some people get a little power hungry when it comes to HOAs and things like that. So, very unfortunate, but it does happen. Imagine. It's very unfair. Because I'm thinking like you're selling your house because of the HOA. You hate the HOA, but you're giving the problem to somebody else. That is actually like, that's horrible. But at the same time, it's like, are you willing to deal with this problem for the rest of your life or just sell it to someone who can take it on? But just like the previous comment that I read, where the person said that the new owner fought the HOA president on the street, like, ugh, you know what I mean? So it's like wow, like I like offsetting the problem to someone else. Well, that's very sad. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Please let me know if you want to see more Reddit videos. Let me know because I enjoy them. I really truly enjoy them. It's fun to make and I get to tell you, give you more advice about real estate, what's popping, what's going on. I as much as I love the news, right? And market updates, which I will continue to do. I'm not going to stop giving market updates. I will say that I love, I just feel like you can see who I am, my personality and things like that. So, let me know if you like these Reddit posts and I'll make even more of them. But with that being said, without any further ado, that is the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you're in the Atlanta area, Atlanta metro area, or you're looking to move to the Atlanta metro area and you're looking for a realtor to buy, sell, invest, or even rent, this is the girl for you. Okay, this is the agent for you. I am your girl. Okay, I am your girl. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.